A Pokemon game is not a Pokemon game without some whining teenager acting like a fan person that follows you all over the region just to get your attention to prove something. Oh, that's creepy. Yeah, the majority of games are kinda there. Some are boring as tar, but others leave an impact for being kind of assholey. But then there's the rare case where they actually matter to the story of the game. Ah, yes, the story of the game. The story of the Pokemon game. Clearly what people remember most about the games. No, but in all seriousness, Pokemon games can cook if they actually put some spices in their stories. More primarily, when there's a theme. Pokemon Black and White are not just called that because of the legendaries. I mean, yeah, I guess. But there's a deeper meaning to that. The theme of the game is ideals and truths. The one thing N will not shut up about. Let's start with ideals. Ideals focuses more about the future, about what could be. It's more in the imaginative side and tends to forget about reality and the capabilities of the individual. Think about it this way. It's what you would pick as your career if money wasn't an issue. Then you have truths, which is the one that focuses on the present. It focuses on the things we have available right now, as in our abilities and capabilities and the realistic pursuit of them. Keeping with their school analogies, think of it as picking a career based on what could benefit you right now. Like, what could make you money right now? What could benefit you in real time in a realistic sense, without getting too surreal and not using facts and logic. And while we have a bunch of characters talking about truths and ideals, mostly N, and the legendary Pokemon being the physical embodiments of this black and white debate, it's our rivals that showcase truths and ideals to a T. Case in point, while they may not be the most memorable rivals, it's amazing by how important they are to the themes presented in Black and White, even Black and White 2 to an extent, but it is how in Black and White their stories unfold from the very beginning. Bianca's story starts out super rough. She's the one who's probably the most focused about having fun and discovering new places with wide open eyes, almost like a kid in Disneyland. She's jumping around, singing, and the one who tries to make the best out of the journey. I don't think she even had an end goal for the journey. She just wanted to get out there and explore and see what's out there. Oh, okay, so she's just like any high schooler that doesn't know what they want to study in college, or even if they can or want to go. But the minute her journey officially starts, her dad berates her very loudly and essentially runs away from home. Not only that, but she is constantly reminded that she is not the strongest Pokemon trainer throughout the journey. Cheren and the player character beat her in every battle they have. She loses her mood in Castelia City and takes a dig at her, and the most prominent moment, her father coming to get her in Nimbasa City. You know, it's moments like these that I do wish there were some animated cutscenes of some sort. The music carries, but I do wish I could feel some of the pain Bianca was suffering then and there, instead of just seeing the lifeless sprites just kinda moving. The sadder part of it is that it's a random stranger that had to butt in and be the support system that Bianca never really had on the journey up until that point. No matter how much of a mother Elisa is, that is a stranger right there and is being more supportive than her own father. And then after that, it almost feels like she hit a reset button. Up until that point, she was focused on doing what Cheren and the player character are doing, getting stronger teams, beating gym leaders, the path that all young Pokemon trainers are expected to go on. She never felt like she had a choice. Was she even presented a choice? Her father didn't even want her going on the trip. So seeing some very determined friends, she decided to follow along and have fun in the process. But how can you have fun in something that you're not even enjoying? And it's a journey that's not meant for you. It's a little depressing to talk about, but there's something to say about the tragedy of Bianca's journey up until that point. She simply wasn't cut out to be a strong Pokemon trainer. She had her trip cut short because it wasn't what she was meant to do, and the following battles you have with her after that intervention, you can tell she knows she's not cut out for it. And that sucks, because you proved everyone right, and the expectations everyone had on her, intentional or not, were met. A weak trainer that is not cut out to be out on her own. She faced the harsh truth. And despite having a minimal support system, losing the belief in herself every step she took in that journey, and having bad things happen to her every twist and turn, the one thing that never died was her spirit and her ability to make the best out of everything. She very easily could have gone home and thrown the towel. Why continue if the only thing she's learning is that she was just wasting her time trying to be something she can't be? But she didn't, and it was her open-mindedness that found her destiny. A lot of Pokemon rivals make it to the Pokemon League right behind you. Some are even the champion, almost painting it as if that is the only goal for young Pokemon trainers. But Bianca proved that a Pokemon journey is not just to become the champion or the strongest Pokemon trainer, but rather find your path. If you really think about it, she tried out everything that came up on her path. She tried out the conventional Pokemon journey to gain strength and fill up the Pokedex, tried out the Pokemon contests. She tried being people's bodyguard, but it was standing next to Professor Juniper and aiding her research that filled her with passion, confidence, and joy. Like, really think about it. When was Bianca the happiest in her journey? It was during that moment with Professor Juniper in Chargestone Cave, where she started her journey of what she can do. Not what a Pokemon trainer should do, but what Bianca can do. Compare that to Cheren, who had the complete opposite journey. Cheren started out as your typical rival, the one who's one step ahead of you, always looking for ways to beat you in battles and wants to become the Pokemon champion to reach peak strength. Everyone around him is very aware of how knowledgeable and capable Cheren is, despite his arrogance. He is the one that you partner up with to beat up Team Plasma multiple times, and is the one whose battles tend to be more of a hassle compared to Bianca's. His goal is set from the beginning, but does he ever enjoy his journey? He seems to be speedrunning left and right just to get it over with. Never once does Cheren take a breather, and he takes everything way too seriously. He comments on why Berg is just having fun out and about, same with Alder. He's always at Bianca about having to take the journey seriously and being a party pooper, and you never see him in any of the tutorials or side quests. He's following one straight path, focusing on the end goal, without ever paying attention to what he could learn throughout the journey. Think of Cheren as someone who is doing flawlessly at school, acing every test and getting amazing grades, and his future is being set in stone for great things, all at the cost of socializing and making friends and acquaintances, trying out things that aren't focused on academics like extracurriculars, or even focusing on one's mental health. Academics aren't what's going to help you find out what you really want to do in life. Real life is very far away from academics. You don't go and have a written exam regarding English literature. You go and properly analyze said body of text and discuss it. Plus, making acquaintances is the beginning of having connections for future job offers and life-changing deals. Funny enough, acquaintances can take you farther than any diploma can. But you didn't hear that from me. It's all those little side quests that happen in one's journey that might feel like a distraction from the end goal, but if anything, they give you more tools and knowledge and get you prepared for the future. Everybody can see Cheren is capable of so much. Everybody knows what he can do, but what should he do? With all that knowledge and power he possesses, what is he going to do with it? What would be the thing that makes Cheren feel satisfied and fulfilled? Because being a champion didn't seem like it. And that is how both Cheren and Bianca complement each other. Bianca shows Cheren the brilliant thing of letting loose and enjoying the trip, being open to any new path that opens. Whereas Cheren helps Bianca realize her potential, as well as having a set goal that gives one motivation and a sense of purpose. Bianca is the one who accepts the truth to pursue all of her ideals, whereas Cheren is the one whose ideals are met with the truth. And in the end, both understand this and pursue their passions as their story continues in Black and White too. Bianca stayed next to Professor Juniper and began shadowing her, and with her knowledge and strength, as well as open heart and kind soul, she became an assistant to the professor, but specifically being the one that travels miles for particular research, proving that she is meant to see the world and that she is capable of being on her own. Cheren decided to use all that knowledge and open up a Pokemon school, where he can pass his wisdom to up-and-coming future Pokemon trainers. But not only that, he decided to use his strength to bring out the best in other trainers by being a gym leader. He is still the same goal-focused, smart, and sassy person he once was, but it has all now blossomed into a new leaf, letting him be the ideal version of himself. Throughout the span of both games, Cheren and Bianca were presented with a philosophical roadblock that didn't let them reach their goal, but it was the fact that they embraced both truths and ideals that let them mature, and becoming not only the best version of themselves, but for the world as well. Which is really interesting, since you still have one more rival in the game, N. The one who will not shut up about truths and ideals, as well as being the one who says will bring balance to the Pokemon world with his ideologies, and constantly berates anyone who dares question his ideals. He's the only one who makes the debate a black and white dilemma, and categorizes everyone on where they fit best. But throughout the journey, he comes to the realization that it's not about either or, but a combination of both. He was wrapped up in an ideology where Pokemon can live freely because he thought that was the truth. He believed this ideal was the truth, and when it came time for him to realize he isn't right, he started spiraling more, getting deeper and deeper into the hole he dug. It also doesn't help he was brainwashed from day one, so... He essentially had Bianca and Cheren's journey. He was faced with the harsh truth, and his ideals became questioned. You know how Bianca is a parallel to Cheren? With N, the player character is their opposite. N was someone who wasn't just truths or ideals, but neither. He was certain he knew the truth, and he was certain his ideals would fix it all. And then like the guy who brainwashed him came clean and yada yada yada, spoilers. It's interesting how N berates you and your two friends the entire game, but by the end of the journey, both Cheren and Bianca find what they needed most. But N barely reaches the point to start a journey to discover that. And all three rivals show that the world is not black and white, but a combination of both. I understand the sentiment of wanting to have rivals that piss you off enough so when you get to battle them, you want to make fun of them or even throw them down a damn well for being douchey McDouchebags. But I'm very fond of having rivals that are essential to the themes of the game, since it makes the pacing of the story better, as well as having a better sense of maturity with the games. To each their own, but if we had more rivals in the caliber of Cheren and Bianca, I would be very happy.